Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Four Horsemen Mythic Legions. This is the Legacies of Mythos Ortho figure, and I'm going to try and give a little background of what I understand this to be. So the Four Horsemen used to do the All-Stars wave. From what I understand, they've stopped doing that. They want to start bringing out other figures from in the past that people can't get. This is all from Joe Gonsalves. He's part of the All Go Off-World podcast. He does a wonderful job, huge in the Mythic Legions community, Four Horsemen community and everything. And since he actually showed this figure off on a show that I was on with him, I was like, that is a great looking figure. So Four Horsemen went back, they did this, but they didn't want to just re-release it. From what my understanding is, please correct me in the description or in the comments if I'm wrong. They wanted to put on the new articulation, make it so not only is this one a better figure, but the old figure keeps its value. Again, I don't collect for value, but I also don't have a problem when one of my figures is worth a little bit more money. Let's say like 00 Snake Eyes or color changing Zartan, right? So that's kind of what they did, but I'm really excited to get this because I thought this was a wonderful looking figure. As you can see, I have another one right there. This was just the one that popped for me, all right? So anyway, we're going to take a look at him. You can see he's kind of in a different type of box, not just your normal Mythic Legions box. I'm assuming he'll be able to be pulled out, put back in if need be. You get a little bit of artwork there. You get some wonderful photography right there. And then on the back you can see him, and then they give you a small tale about this figure, Otho. Did I say Ortho? I think I said Ortho. I meant Otho. But anyway, let's get into this because I'm super excited to get this figure out. He looks amazing. The face sculpt is absolutely awesome. But if you like this type of stuff, if you like when I give you Mythic Legions Four Horsemen stuff, please take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Mythic Legions review. Alright, figure is out, and if you're new to the channel, I like to go over the accessories and everything that he comes with first before we look at the figure. And also, I haven't touched the figure, I haven't moved him around other than get him out of the box. That's how I like to do it. It's first-hand review of what you're going to have to experience and what you're going to experience when you take it out, alright? So, let's take a look at this figure right now. So, everything that he does come with, and we'll start with the hands. So, he has these knight hands, alright? And you can see the nice detail in it. You can even see there's little paint, okay, right up through the rivets, up on the knuckles. Again, wonderful, wonderful design here. Like everything Mythic Legions does, hand painted, and just the detail looks awesome. Here we have another holding hand, and you're going to see a couple more. And before you wonder what is the difference, and what it is this is a sword or axe hand. It moves up and down. And then you're going to have this one, which swivels in and out this way. All right. So depending on what you're using, if it's a shield, you might need to use different hands. Again, same hands, but they articulate opposite ways. All right. We got the shield. All right. And this is the handle for the shield. And it just pegs right onto the back like this. All right. And then he can hold it. Probably going to have to move it into this position so this doesn't catch, okay? So we'll look at this really quickly here. And it has this wonderful lion on it. All right, nice gold lion. Nice mane that you can see right there. You can see the fur right there. Nice eyes. And again, so much detail in it. And then when you get to the paint up here, to make it look really nice, just give it a bunch of detail. And then they give you this little piece here. And you may be wondering, what's that for? Well, if you want to pop this off, because this can also be used as an army builder. Now, this isn't a specific shield for anyone, for an actual character. It's just an army builder, right? So now you can use that, use it on a different figure. They have a lot of knights and stuff like that. Obviously, I want to keep the line on it as it looks the best. We have this axe, which I have never seen before. I'm sure it's been used before. And the detail in the blue on this, I think, looks awesome. The blue and the gold that just pops. So here we have a big spike on one end, and then you have the big blade on the other on the other end, spike on the top. But when you look at that detail and look at the paint, it looks amazing. All right, on both sides, you can see all the painted little rivets right there. Maybe they're not rivets, whatever they are, the detail. But all that detail in that blue, you get down to the handle, where you can see this is where he's meant to actually grab it. This does come apart if need be. So you can do different types of shots. This handle probably is used on other axes. Again, I'm not all in on Mythic Legions, so I can't tell you everything. I'm a novice for the most part. And then we get down here, and again, you can see the bottom, all the detail, and obviously the gold painted right there. 2 different swords that he's going to come with. All right, here's the nice sheath, painted gold on the bottom. This little clip here that's going to clip onto his belt. And then we get the sword that comes off. And again, nice and straight. It's pokey enough. You're not going to want to give this to a kid, though it does have some flexibility, but it is straight. All right. When we look at this, and I believe I'm pretty sure I have this sword on a couple of the other knights. All right. But it is nice and straight. You got the guard right there, the detail right down in the middle. And then you got the blue grip along with the little circle with the cross through it. And again, it looks really nice, and then it slides in. And what is nice is once it punches in, it should, oh, maybe it doesn't. Usually they stay in pretty nicely, but this one's fairly loose, so I guess be careful with it. Normally I thought they kind of popped in, but I'm completely wrong there. Then we have this sword, which is clearly his sword, as you can see. The actual lion. Now, I'm sure if I read into the lore, I don't review on lore. I review on an action figure, what he looks like, the detail, accessories, things like that. So there's probably some lore that he fits somewhere with a kingdom, or he's associated with someone that has their lion as their crest or whatever. So there we have a lion right there, the same one that we see on his shield. Then we get the nice sword. It's in a nice sheath. Now this one here doesn't have anything, which means it probably connects in there, and we'll look at that in a minute. But you have the nice gold, silver right there, blue paint going all the way up. And then as we pull this sword out, this is a much beefier sword, I guess you could say. Again, fairly pokey, but not too bad. You got the guard right there, the nice detail running all the way through. And then I love the, again, you got to love the line right there, the detail. And look at the grip. I mean, it's meant to make it look like it's some sort of like leather grip. You can see the texture in it, all right? And I don't believe that comes off, so don't try and pop it off. It kind of has a look like it would, but I'll be damned if I'm going to just try and yank that thing off. All right. Over here, we got a couple of pauldrons, and I will show you how these go on. When we get to the actual figure. You don't have to have them, but if you want to put them on, you can. It changes the character, or changes the look of the character. So just quickly looking at it, you got these gold accents. You can see here, this is meant so it can actually, it's supposed to be able to move. It's going to plug into his back. Even here, we got some detail. So again, they really don't leave too much out, to be 100% honest. And then we have the knight's helmet, okay? So this is, let's say you just want to have an army builder, all right? Oh, wait a minute. Ooh. They must have different faces that we can swap this out. I didn't know that. So we can actually swap out the different faces on other knights, so you can have different figures in here. Again, I don't know. If you know more, please tell me in the description, especially what this is made for. I'm just reviewing this actual figure. So first off, we're taking a look at this helmet, and we have the holes so they can breathe, but obviously not enough that they're in any type of danger. Here we can see that it's kind of the pull that's meant to hold this in place, probably so they don't have to weld it. They can change out the masks. You get the helmet. You see the detail kind of running back there, but just a little bit of paint goes really far. And then again, when this flips up here, we're going to have different faces that we can swap in there. It might just be a whole different, maybe a face pack. I don't know. I really don't. I was not expecting that. All right, so here we take a look at the unmasked head now. on the back. You can be like, oh, what's that big hole for? Well, that is for his hair. It looks like they're dreads. That's going to pop off, is my assumption. All right, so looking at this figure, he's got these nice dreads that are kind of going back, and then he has like this big roll on the back to keep it all together. But this beard looks nice. You got a nice ear. You can look at those eyes. They definitely look good. They are looking straight, which is always a plus because that's the last thing that you want. You can see the wrinkles in his forehead. He does kind of look like he's scowling. But again, paint's in the spots that it's supposed to be. I don't see no overspray or anything like that. Now we're on to the actual figure, and this is what I always absolutely love to look at. So, looking at the figure, here he is inside this mask. All right, and you can see the eyes. They look really good. And again, you got the nice mustache right there. You can see that the beard is on the bottom, but you're not going to be able to do too much with it. We get to close this up, and now he has the lion head. All right, and once again, it's made to look very similar, like right there. So all in all, this is meant so maybe once he moved up in rank or whoever, they're putting on different face plates. All right, so you got this nice lion. You can see the eyes are supposed to be able to see through it. I would assume if you have some light, you'd be able to see through it, but that's so dark and very small. I don't think it's going to be too good. I'm not going to get any types of pictures. But you got the mane right there. Again, the hair on the chin going all the way to the back, and then you obviously have to have this piece so his dreads are popping out. So quickly, we'll pop this off, and we're just going to throw this over here. All right, and then if you want him without the mask, there you go. It just sits like that. So, but right now, we'll throw it back on here. I should just take it off so we can see everything. All right. So, Mythic Legions, if you are unfamiliar, they are well known for their soft goods. This is considered soft goods, okay? So, within the soft goods, you almost always have a wire cape or a wire skirt, whatever it is, going around, and it makes it so you can do some wonderful shots. All right, so starting up here, all right, we got some nice armor up here that is stitched into his soft goods, and you can see the nice little clasp right there for the belt buckle holding this all together. You see the stitching. He's got the gold, so it all matches his look. He's got the armor going down his bicep with all this nice little gold and just wonderful detail. Now this is a open kind of grasping hand. I'm not really sure what he's going to grasp with it, but who knows? We'll find out shortly. When we look at this, this piece right here, I believe this is where I can actually put the axe or the sword right through there. All right, so that opens up that we're able to put the sword or the axe through there depending on what you want to do. And it can also be done right here on this belt. But the detail on it looks really wonderful, as they always do. We get down to the belt here. You can see the paint. This is a pliable leather style. Well, it's actually rubber, but it feels like it's leather. You can see the detail within it. And again, the little paint right there just makes it pop. You got the chain armor right down here, which is flexible. And obviously right down there. Couple little different hooks. And it's going to wrap completely around. And again, like I said, here's this wired skirt of his. And you can make it look like the wind is kind of blowing however you want. As we get down to the legs, all right, once again, it's just a knight. So he's going to have knight features, knight legs. But this little bit of detail is really what makes everything pop all the way down to the feet, which you're going to have the little rivets right there. And again, you can imagine listening to this guy walk around, clank around. As for the articulation, now Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen, never been known for their articulation. That is where they have been. That is where they've been slacking. But you're not really paying for that. You are paying for the sculpt, the accessories, the soft goods, right? But they've started to do better, and that I'm very happy for because I do think we can get better articulation. So he can look up and he can look down, obviously side to side. The necks have always seemed a little wonky to me, depending on how it sets. All right. As for his arms, there's his T-pose. And then he can swivel right there at the shoulder. And then that is his articulation. You get 90 degrees. Now again, you will see this is where I kind of complain because I wish we could get better articulation. It's not the worst, but at this day and age, there are better. All right. We have a wrist swivel, and obviously the hands can swivel because they're going to have to pop off, right? He has a crunch here. Not really a crunch, but the diaphragm cut right there. Now, I'm not taking any of this off. This is all meant to come off if you choose to. I choose not to. It is a pain to get back on. All right. So you can swivel back and forth, up and down. His legs here. He's not going to get a great... Well, actually, they make it really good Jean-Claude Van Damme. So there's your Jean-Claude Van Damme. Goes back down. Thigh swivel. And you can really feel and hear that there's no like clicking. 90-degree leg. Again, no double knees. And if you look right there, you can see the actual color. All right. And then you have these ankle rockers right there. And then you can obviously turn this way. So they use a whole different type of articulation than, let's say, a G.I. Joe Classified or Marvel Legends. Or shall I say, especially a Savage Crucible. All right. As for popping the head off, we're going to take this head and we're going to throw this one on because personally, I just think this head is awesome. It is in the vein of Dubin, which I think is absolutely wonderful. But again, like the neck is still kind of wonky in some ways when you look at it. But when you're looking at it straight, I think it looks really good. As for the pauldrons, this is where you can pop them into. All right. And they're only going to go one way. So if you want the pauldrons on, and sometimes you do have to heat it up. They do give you instructions that you may have to heat this up. If you want to do a pop and swap, that is very common in the toy world. There are a lot of people that don't think that it should be, but you are messing with plastic. And some plastic may be more brittle, but with heat, it actually helps it to loosen it up, soften it, so you can either pop stuff in or pop things out. And again, it's not that big of a deal. So if you have to warm up a figure, then again, not that big of a deal. So there you go. There's the shoulders right there. Now, I've never had a problem with the male hands. With the female hands, I have definitely had one break because I didn't heat it up. So just be very careful, all right? I'm showing you what it's like. I'm in my basement right now, so it's a little bit cooler, but he was sitting outside in like 70-some degree weather, so he is fairly warmed up, all right? So there's that. We'll throw his dreads on the back. Now, once you put these on, let's be honest, you are going to affect your articulation. Well, it looks like the neck does. So the neck here, as you can see, it moves back and forth, but it's not a ball joint right there. So it can move up and down that way. I will say that so far, the feeling of this feels a little... it doesn't feel like it's going to stay on all that well. So you might want to use some sticky tack. Or is it twisted into place? And again, I'm doing this to show you what you're what you should expect if you're getting a Mythic Legions, you're opening this up, all right? So you're going to pop this off here. And then we'll grab another hand. I guess I kind of like having the sword hand so they go up and down. But if you're going to be using a shield an awful lot, maybe you want to change that up. So, there's our axe. And gotta say the hands are fairly tight. So you want to be able to make sure that you can grab, hopefully hold it on both hands. I don't think that you can cross over and hold a sword together. That's been a huge gripe on a lot of people, and not just these figures. It's it's all figures, especially the classified when it comes to Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, stuff like that. So there he is with his axe. I think that looks actually pretty nice. All right, pop this off here. I'm gonna take this big old sword, and it should slide in through here. All right. So once it gets to the top, this top one here should be tight enough that it's not just going to go all the way out. So now I have the big sword on this side here. I can pull this off. And I'm not going to try and... I really do feel like this is supposed to come off. But I'll let someone let me know, or maybe I'll find it in a video. Maybe someone will reach out to me. So just be careful that you don't pull this off. I'm not going to press my luck and find out the hard way. All right, and then this here. And with the pauldrons are really going to get in the way, this is where you have to be very careful. All right, and what I mean by careful, I mean just take your time, move things around, just because things can get very frustrating. And the one thing I try and tell people, if you're not doing this on camera, trying to watch it through the lens back here while you're looking over it, it's not going to be as difficult. At least it shouldn't be. And we're going to take a sword, and we're going to throw the shield. And now, here he is with his sword. We have the extra head, or the extra mask, which I am interested. Now I'm wondering if I have other masks, other face plates that can come out, but I didn't know about that. As for this can also go on the back. It can go inside there. If you don't want this, I think this is more left. I think this is more for if you want to make him an army builder. He can only really arm up so much. I mean, there's only so many swords I think you can run into battle with. He doesn't have any short swords. He just has this big long sword, his shield, his axe. That's a lot of weaponry, and I would assume fairly heavy for that time. But anyway, there is your Otho. I think I said his name. Like I said, I really wanted this figure. I thought he looked amazing. I never had any intention of spending hundreds of dollars on a figure like this. But once he popped up, I was like, I had to have it. So there you go. Let's wrap this up. All right, so there you go. That is your Four Horsemen Mythic Legions Otho. This is part of the Legacy of Mythos. Again, from what I understand, and please, in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, this is now the All-Star Wave. They wanted to name it something different. I'm not really sure why. But I like the idea of going back, and there's figures from the early days that they didn't have, or they didn't make a lot of. This was one of them that people want. And if you have better articulation, you have better designs, stuff like that, there's no use redoing the mold. So to me, I think it's wonderful what they did. Hey, we're going to re-give these figures out. We're going to use new molds, but it keeps the value of those original figures so you don't get screwed. Maybe if you were someone that overpaid for it. That's on you. Again, I don't collect for value, but I also don't get mad when I know I have a figure that's worth an extra $100 or $200 because I bought them at a time when no one else wanted them. But anyway, there you go. That face sculpt is absolutely amazing. I'm super happy with it. Again, these are 7-inch scale, so if anyone is wondering, again, this is really weird. I'm still trying to feel out how I'm going to do reviews here rather than where I used to be, which is now going to be set up for doing photography and pictures and stuff like that. There's so much stuff there that it makes it hard to do reviews. This one I can kind of keep it a little bit clean, but obviously more stuff will kind of come down. But anyway, I've rambled on enough. But you're like, hey, that's not that bad. I stayed this long, so I'm not mad. So anyway, I'm going to take off. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Mythic Legions figure. But now you're saying, sounds like you've done some Mythic Legions before. I've never seen it, and you know what? That's okay, because right up here, I'm going to leave another review of one that I've done, and down here will be a playlist of all the Four Horsemen stuff that I reviewed. Take care.